Good morning, everybody. Get ready with me while I give you a big life update. You guys, I've been thinking about how I was gonna do this video and what I was gonna say and when and how and kind of on a whim, I decided today was a good day. Things are actually starting to happen now. So it's becoming a little bit more real. I guess I should explain. This is crazy. To put it out in the world like this, I'm so nervous and I don't even know why. I'm just gonna say it and then I'll explain, you know, all the info. Most everybody in my life knows this already, and I think that was the first big step, is telling everybody and putting that out into the universe. But like, now we're putting it out onto the internet universe, so it's even more real. And I feel like sometimes I feel like it's not gonna happen, and then other days I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. Sorry, I haven't even told you what it is yet. I'd say in the next 6 weeks I'm planning a move, and a fairly big one. Okay, let me explain. I've known probably for the last, I don't know, like 2 years, or I felt I wasn't going to be staying in LA much longer. And for more than one reason. Probably the main reason would be because I'm ready for my next adventure. I was a military wife for 15 years, so we moved around a lot. I think this is my 7th place to live. Obviously coming out to LA wasn't a military move, and then this one won't be either. So I feel like that was 6 military moves. And we moved every 2 or 3 years, and I've been in LA for like 6. Let me make sure that timeline is right. Came out here in about 2018, got the apartment. Yeah, 18 to 20, that's 6 years. I just feel like it's time for the next adventure. That's the first reason. And the second reason, and also a pretty big reason, is it's expensive here. I don't think that's a big surprise of how like the cost of living is so high out here. So I knew this about 2 years ago, maybe even a little longer, honestly. Soon after the divorce, I probably started thinking that, but the timing just wasn't right. That's probably when I first really kind of just started toying around with the idea in my head, and this was years ago. And like I said, the timing just wasn't right, and I know the timing will never be perfect. They say it's never a perfect time to get married, and it's never a perfect time to have a baby, and it's never a perfect time for anything big, so you just kind of have to do it. The problem is there's really nothing making me go. Like, I don't have to leave. The last couple times I moved, it was because of the divorce or because my landlord was selling the house. I had to move. And so this time, nothing's really making me make that big jump. As the months and years went by, the next issue, no, it's definitely not an issue. So the first hurdle was figuring out where I wanted to live. Where was this next adventure going to be? And because I can work from anywhere, just need some internet, then I can move anywhere, which sounds great. But when you have so many choices, it really makes the choice hard. That took a long time. That took like a year. I'm not even kidding. Just in the back of my head, I would start like a little bit of research here and a little bit of research there, and just took some time to think about what that was going to look like, where I wanted to be. And I haven't even narrowed it down perfectly yet. I knew that it was important to be like close to water and not landlocked. I have a couple cities, but I'm not going to tell you those cities yet. What I will say is it's going to be on the East Coast. I'm going back to the East Coast. I have a budget in my head of what I would like to pay. I'm going to rent for a little while to get to know the area. If I'm moving to a new city, I want to make sure I like that city. Yada, 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 all the adult responsible stuff. I narrowed it down to a few places, and I have literally scoured Zillow up and down that East Coast. I feel like I'm bouncing all around. I hope if you're still here, there's still so much more to say. Guys, I decided to do this today because I had a couple Zoom walkthrough tours scheduled, and then last night I was doing some research again. I came upon a place. Nothing's perfect, but this one was pretty close to what I was looking for. I need like a fenced yard. They're gonna allow the dogs, like, oh. See, that was the third hurdle. The third hurdle is finding somewhere that will take 3 dogs. 3. I got so lucky here with my landlord. She's been fabulous and I love her. And then obviously the final hurdle is getting all my stuff over there. So what I'm most stressed about, and I'm trying to look at it as an adventure, but getting the dogs over there and finding a place that will allow 3 of them, and then getting all my furniture over there. That's gonna be the hardest part. Found a place that was pretty great within my budget, well within it, and I'd contacted a few places. I have a few places scheduled for some virtual tours, and then this one has a lot of interest in it. There's a lot of people interested because it shows you how many applications have been sent and how many contacts. And I haven't done an application yet. Said you have to put an application first because they had so much great feedback. They wanted the application done first before they would do a tour because they wanted, you know, serious inquiries only. So I was like, okay, well, I guess on this one, the first step has got to be put the application in. So I filled out the application and I submitted it, and this morning I get a text saying, we're showing the house today if you want to come by. And I'm like, oh, I would love to, but I am on the West Coast. Would you consider doing a virtual tour? And they said yes, and now all of a sudden, in about an hour, I'm going to hop on a little Zoom or FaceTime, and I'm going to tour the first house that I'm interested in. Then I have another virtual tour scheduled for tomorrow, and then one on Tuesday. So my point is it's actually getting real. One, because I have these set up, and two, because I just told you guys. Okay, one moment while I get my eyebrows done because I have to look here. As I'm doing this, I'm also trying to rack my brain to make sure there was nothing else I needed to add to this. I feel like all of a sudden I was just like, oh, let me pull out the camera and tell you guys. I think that covers most of it. I am definitely nervous for a couple reasons. One, because this is like a huge move and I'm doing it kind of like alone. You know what I mean? I mean, I have friends and family, but like I'm making pretty much all the decisions are falling on me. And like this is a big decision and this is a lot to coordinate. And I mean, I've moved myself. Like after the divorce, I did move twice, but they were local moves. This one's a little bit more nerve-wracking because it's all the way across the whole country. That kind of makes me nervous. It makes me nervous because I also do love it here. I really do. I mean, my circle of friends is pretty small, but I love them all. And like, obviously the weather is great and it's beautiful here and there's so much to do. And I know it may sound cheesy, but I believe home is where the heart is. So I know that once I get over there and get settled in, I'm gonna love it. But there's also those thoughts of like, what if I hate it? What if I hate it? Obviously through the military, we moved in brand new cities without knowing anybody in the past. Like, I know I can do it. When you move with the military, they handle all of it. This is a little bit scarier. This is what the funny thing is. During the day, I'm like, I'm going, nothing's gonna stop me. I am so excited. I'm so motivated. And then I'll be lying in bed at night and I'm like, no, this is the worst mistake. This is like, why are you doing this? You're fine where you are. Just stay here. Everything just runs through my head of everything that could go wrong and how hard it's gonna be and how stressed I'm gonna be. But then I wake up the next day and I'm like, I can do it. I can do this. Sure, it's gonna be a little stressful. There's gonna be bumps, but I can do it. And like the motivation just hits me when I wake up. It's crazy. It's been such a roller coaster. So that's the big update. Dating wise, I kind of given it a break. One, because the moving, so I don't really want to meet somebody here. So I've kind of put that on pause. So besides the East Coast, I also considered a few other places that I don't mind mentioning because I'm probably not going to end up there, but I really considered Houston because I have family there and I lived there for many years. I graduated high school outside of Houston. I considered Austin. Been to Austin several times when I lived there. I really considered that one. And I also considered Nashville. One, because I love the show. And two, because there's a lot of people moving out there. And I've been once. I loved it, and I've just heard really good things. Those are the main ones that I majorly considered, other than the ones that I'm considering now on the East Coast. I am genuinely very excited. I was so nervous to tell people, because I'm like, I know it kind of is a little bit crazy. Moving to a new city that you haven't spent much time in, be kind of sight unseen, a little nerve-wracking. Even though I've done it a time or two in the past, at the military, it's still a little bit nerve-wracking. I've told several people here, and they're like, you're not gonna just go out there and visit for a while? And I could do that. No, I'm gonna do it all online like a crazy person. But that's kind of how I'm used to doing it. I can tell you all the places we lived in the military. I had never been to any of those places except one, I believe. Started out in Pensacola, then we did Fort Huachuca, Arizona. So Pensacola and Fort Huachuca, they were schools that he had to go to. I worked at Blockbuster in both cities. So I started Blockbuster in high school, and that was in LaPorte, Texas. I worked at that Blockbuster there. I wonder if it's still, no. I wonder if it's still there. No, there's no more. I think there's only one Blockbuster left, so that definitely isn't there anymore. So then after Arizona was Fort Gordon, Georgia, which is in Augusta, and that's where Caleb and Jules were born. Then we went to Katy, Texas, which is outside of Houston, and that's the one that I had been to before. My dad actually many years ago used to live in Katy when I was in high school on the other side of Houston, so I was familiar with Katy. That's the only place I think through the military that I moved to that I was familiar with, or that I had been. And that's where Haley was born. So then after Katy, Texas, we moved to Maryland. Very beginning of Katy, Texas and Maryland, that's when I started YouTube. Early on in YouTube, we moved from Katy to Maryland. So like the very first videos were in Katy, Texas. We were there for a while, and that was the last military move. And then we started coming out here a lot for work, and have been here ever since then. So it's definitely time for the next adventure. I'm very excited about it. I doubt myself. I'm like, can I really do this? Can I really pull this off? Am I really gonna pull this off? Am I really going to move across country? 6 months from now, am I gonna look back and be like, wow, I did it? Like when I think about 6 months from now, I'm like, anything can happen, right? Like there is a chance that something could come up and maybe I won't go. I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't know. I never say never. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm planning on moving. So there's really nothing keeping me here, except that the dogs are here and all my stuff is here, and that's easy, right? That's easy. Sometimes you've got to like put yourself out of your comfort zone, and this is definitely out of my comfort zone. I just kind of wish that the decision would be made for me and I'd be like, well, I have to go. I have to go. I do have to go. In my head, I have to go. There's so much more to see. I have been filming for 30 minutes and I have just been rambling, and I'll probably cut this way down because I have been bouncing around everywhere. But the gist of it is I'm so excited. I was so nervous of how I was going to tell you guys, but I feel better now. I honestly feel like it's a little bit more real now. I honestly can't believe I just did that. Now the next part's going to be actually posting this. So if you're seeing this, that's it, you guys. That's my big life update. I feel like there's so much more to say, and I was just rambling, so I'm not even sure what I said. And I hope I said everything that I wanted to say in this video. I guess the good news is I'm going to be, you know, kind of keeping you guys updated. If there's something that I forgot, you'll see it in the next video. Come along with me. Join me on this crazy adventure. So sorry that I sprung this on you guys, kind of. You know, this is something that I've been thinking about for so long, so it's not that crazy. I mean, it's still crazy. It's still crazy. I hope you'll follow along. I'll be sure to keep you guys updated. I'll let you know how this tour goes. And actually, the next 3 tours, I'll let you know. I have about 30 more minutes before my little virtual tour. And then after that, I'm going to see the movie Twisters with some friends. So I hope you guys enjoy your day. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time.